So today we're going to be continuing to play Doodle Empires. Now you guys really did enjoy the last Doodle Empires video, and honestly I did as well. So we're going to be playing this game again, this time using a different map. So if you guys do enjoy today's Doodle Empires video, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. All the support is greatly appreciated as we're trying to get to 200,000 subscribers. I do want to apologize about this video and yesterday's video getting mixed up. When I announced Daily Upload Week Part 2, I said that this video would come out on Thursday, but it's coming out on Friday. That's because I have to re-record this video. The previous file's audio corrupted. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump straight into this video. So like I said, we are going to be playing on a new map this time. And what better map to play on than the map of Europe? Now we have a lot of options as to where we should put our new civilization, but I do kind of want to do this one a little bit different than what we did in the previous Doodle Empires video. Instead of putting a bunch of civilizations all over the map, I think what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate them in one area. And I think that area is actually going to be Greece and Turkey. So we're going to do a new nation, we're going to make it red, and we're just going to draw these guys in along the Macedonian coast in Greece. We're going to kind of follow the mountain ranges here as to, you know, at least be a little bit realistic, although realism isn't really my thing. But yeah, there we go. This is our first nation, our first civilization, and from here we will be expanding out. Now I do want to say that if this video does well enough and you guys really do enjoy it, I will continue to use this very map, and eventually one day we'll fill the whole thing up with multiple episodes and kind of a mini series. Anyway, as for our new country, we'll be naming it Macedonia. These guys are isolationist and they're flatlanders, something important to remember. But also we're going to give them a capital city right around here. And we're going to be using real life city names and real life province/region names to name all of these civilizations to add a new realistic aspect. And the capital of this nation, the Macedonian nation, is Thessaloniki. I'm not really familiar with Greek and Greek city names, so I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And also, I apologize in advance for all the other city names that I'm going to butcher in this video. But from here, we're going to draw a card and we're going to get a medium expand for Macedonia. Now, these guys are flatlanders, so we're going to keep them away from the mountains. And instead, we're going to make them follow up this river and kind of go around the mountains. From here, we're going to give them some extra coast now going down into this area of Turkey. And they now control the entrance into the Sea of Marmara. I think we're also going to throw them some of these extra islands, and there we go. For our next card, we're going to be founding a religion. And we're going to call this new religion Redianity. I think that's a fitting name for the red Macedonian country we have here. And then we're going to be doing a small expand again. So this time we're going to wrap them around this part of the Greek coast and give them some more of these islands. Maybe give them this big island in Turkey, or I guess that's technically Greece actually. And now we get a small split. So when we do these splits, I kind of want to make it realistic. So for example, the capital is all the way over here in Macedonia, yet they control land all the way over here in Turkey. So the story here is that the capital city and all of the government is not doing a good enough job at, you know, keeping the people here happy in this part of Turkey. Now, of course, if we're being realistic, this is super early civilization. There likely isn't like a government and this kind of thing doesn't really happen. But this part of Turkey is going to break away from the Red Macedonians and they will take control of the entrance into the Sea of Marmara. So here is our brand new civilization. We're going to name this nation Marmara, and their capital city will be right around here. And its name will be whatever this is. I don't think I can pronounce that. It's either Kanakkale or Kanakkale, but that will be their capital city. Let's go ahead and select the blue team, draw a card, and they're going to get a medium expand. So since they are called the Marmaras, we're going to wrap them around the Sea of Marmara. I think that's fitting for them. They'll also be the first nation to access the Black Sea and push further into Asia. Or, I mean, if you consider this still Europe, then Europe. But now let's move them down the Turkish coast over here. We'll give them these islands. So now let's go back to Mesopotamia. Let's select them and draw a card, and they're going to get split, which means we actually have to split them like in half. So I think realistically, the lands furthest away from their capital will once again be the areas to break away. So everything over here in this part of the red team or Macedonia, we're not actually going to give them a ton of land. We're going to give them maybe some of these islands, and there we go. Now this country will be called Opak. I believe that is the region of Greece that this thing is mostly in. And their capital city will be right here, and it will be called Kavala. So now we have 3 civilizations on this map. Let's go ahead and once again select the red team, draw a card, and they're going to get a medium expand. So now that these guys are starting to get kicked out of this area of Greece and Turkey, we have them moving down into the Greek peninsula, colonizing the flatlands of this area. Now the Greek peninsula obviously is very mountainous, so their borders will be kind of weird, but they will have to work around the mountains as they expand their early civilization. We're now heading back over to the blue team, and we're gonna get a large expand for them. So I think the civilizations at this point are going to start to move down south, much similar to what the red team just did in the previous turn. The blue team moves down south, also following this river inland, and then wrapping around the southern Turkish coast, pushing a little bit inland, but also maintaining their following of this mountain range. And this is what the new blue team is looking like at this point, probably the strongest civilization on this map. Now, I will say in the previous recording that I did, there was a red and blue team much similar to this, but the red team was a lot stronger and a lot larger, and the blue team was a lot weaker. I think it's kind of interesting how they managed to flip-flop in this new recording that I've done. Let's go and select the purple team. Let's draw a card for them, and they're going to get a small split. So now we have the creation of the yellow team in this. Oh no, I didn't think that the split would be that small. That poor civilization is like a river civilization. But we're now in the age of division for the next 20 turns, and what that means is that a lot of these countries are going to be falling apart. So instead of, you know, ruining the red team or the purple team even more, let's select the blue team and then draw a card, and they're going to get a small split. Now, did I know that was going to happen? Yeah, I did know it was going to happen. It's the age of division after all. But this small split will be taking place down here in the southernmost area of the blue team, where they most recently just got land. And I know that they just settled this area and it breaking away isn't too realistic, but this game doesn't really have like a realistic aspect. You just kind of do whatever you want to do in this game, and that's kind of like the beauty of it. But we now have the green team in southern Turkey. Their capital city will be right here, and it's going to be named once again after a real life city, so Antalya, something like that. But as for the name of this nation, we're also going to be calling it the same thing, because this region of Turkey in real life is just called Mediterranean, and that's low-key a boring name, so we're going to give it a real name. Okay, so we are now 5 civilizations strong and a yellow rebellion in the north. We just got the purple team, and they're going to be splitting yet again. So I'm not too sure what the government of the purple team has done, but obviously their people aren't too happy with the the government. And now we have the orange team breaking away. Now these little groups aren't very strong. They're not strong enough to have a capital city. They're not large enough to have a capital city, and therefore they're kind of just considered tribes. But we now get the blue team. We're going to draw a card, and they're going to get a medium expand, which is actually perfect for what I have planned next, because the blue team will be invading into the yellow and orange countries, taking advantage of fresh land that was just lost by the purple team. They will also expand their land in thrice, and now the blue team is looking something like this. Honestly, kind of scary. But now it's time for the red team to make a move. We're going to be selecting them, drawing a card, and they're going to be getting a small split. The people of the southern region of the red team are not too happy with being a part of the red team, so they and some of the surrounding area will officially be breaking away. This yellow team here will simply just be called Greece, because in real life this region is called Central Greece. Anyway, these guys' capital city will be right around there, and that will be Chalcis. I was going to originally give them Athens, but they don't even have Athens yet. It's still down here. But now for our next civilization, we'll be randomly selecting the purple team. They are uniters and they're flatlanders. So if they get an expand, they're not going to be too happy, but they're actually going to find a religion, which just is interesting because they, I think, are already a part of the red team's religion. And nonetheless, they will find a new religion, and we now have 2 religions on this map. We have Redianity, and we now have Purpleism. Religion at this point isn't too important. This is early civilization. It didn't really have too much of an impact on early civilization if they were religious at all, which usually they weren't. Mostly pagan in the early civilization days, but like, I'm talking like in the very beginning, there probably wasn't any religion. And now we select the green team, and they're going to get a small split. Now, I'm not too sure what they could have done to have people break away from them, but that is exactly what happens as we have this area of the green team breaking away, including Rhodes here. And honestly, you know what would be cool? If this nation was an island nation and their capital city was on Rhodes Island. We're also just going to be calling their civilization Rhodes. And we now have 6 civilizations on this map, with the biggest one being the blue team. Speaking of the blue team, we're going to select them, draw a card, and they're going to get yet another small split. And this time what we have happening is the blue team losing control of the area over here in Turkey as these people break away and cut them off from the Black Sea and start to encompass much of the Marmara area. We're going to call these guys Constantinople, but have no fear, my Turkish viewers, because we will be calling the capital city Istanbul. If I could spell it right, Istanbul. There, nope. All right, hold on now. Istanbul, there we go. So the age of division is absolutely wrecking a lot of these large countries, especially the blue team, who has had 3 breakaways at this point, and the red team also technically has had 1-2 breakaways. So in conclusion, the age of division is full of, well, division. Who would have known? All right, so now we select the red team, and they get a medium expand. So what the red team is going to do is that they're going to go and invade the purple team. Wanting to reclaim some of the land that they had lost to them, the red team's troops move in and easily topple over the purple team, who has been dealing with a lot of instability. Additionally, the red team now moves its civilization further north, now going into this, I guess, valley of Greece. I'm not too sure what this actually is in real life, but the red team has once again expanded, and the purple team is no more. So what we can do now, actually, is we can delete the capital of the former purple team, but we can still make it a major city. So it's not the capital, but it is still a major city, as you can see here, and if the purple team were to ever come back, their capital city would be easily found. And speaking of major cities, we can actually start to add some to this map, so the blue team at this point, probably still the strongest strongest country of all the civilizations, so they would more than likely also have more than one major city. And this time we're adding in Izmir. So the red team and the blue team are at this point the two most populated nations. Let's see what else happens with these civilizations. So we now randomly select the Greek nation, and they're going to get a medium expand. So now they can finally move down into this Athens area and reinforce their border and connect it across from here. They will not be invading any of the red team because that would be not very smart of them. But what they will be doing is that they are going to be setting out to sea and colonizing all of these central Greek islands, moving all the way over here towards the orange team. Additionally, they'll move down into this peninsula of Greece and colonize the area around this body of water. But there's the yellow team now, and they have all of a sudden become a pretty prominent civilization, being probably the third largest on this map. If not, they're really close with the teal team, but I think they might be a little bit larger. All right, we now select the blue team, drawing a card, and they're going to get another small expand. So they're not going to be going to war with the teal or red teams. Instead, they're going to be going after this unclaimed land up here in Bulgaria, and maybe even try to push themselves up into Romania. So the blue team is now looking something like this, and honestly they're getting kind of large, which could be an issue for them, because as we select them again and draw a card, the blue team is going to get a split. That was perfect timing. You know, there was a chance that that would not have happened and it would have gotten like another expand or something. We're good though, I had good luck there. Anyway, the pink team will be breaking away from the blue team in its recently annexed and colonized areas in the north, moving all the way down to the border of the cyan team. The pink team will almost kick the blue team all the way out of Europe. In fact, they will. And this new country will be called Thrice, and their capital city will be right here along the Sea of Marmara, and it will be called whatever this is. Tekirdağ? Something like that? I don't know. Once again, not familiar with Turkish names. But this is what we have now. We have the red and blue teams, which are the two strongest, like I said earlier. Then we have the regional / mid-tier powers, which is honestly probably just the yellow team. And then you have your lower tier powers, which is the cyan team up here, and then the green team down here. Then you have your weakest countries, which is the orange team, and then the pink team that just formed. So we now randomly select the pink team, and they're going to get a small expand. So we're going to continue their civilization along this river. But then we're also going to start moving them up north into Bulgaria along this mountain range. Next up, we get the green team, and they are going to do and adopt their religion, and there really isn't any religion to adopt. They're already a part of the red religion. So yeah, that doesn't really do anything for us. Let's select them again, and now they get a medium expand. Okay, that was what I was going for. Let's continue to push them along the southern Turkish coast, not really going too far inland, but mainly just, like I said, sticking to this coast. And we're going to wrap them around and start pushing them down into the Middle East. So this is our first Middle Eastern nation, and they're going to move up this river here, going into central Turkey like this. So now the green team is probably the most vast nation, spanning the most amount of, land from point A to point B. All right, so the age of division has officially ended, meaning that no more will these countries start to break apart like crazy. Now it's likely that we'll see some new nations start, as well as some expansions. So let's select the red country, draw a card for them, and they're going to get a large expand. Now the red team is in an interesting spot because they can no longer go into the mountain range. They are flatlanders. They don't really, mess with the mountains. So what the red team does is that they're going to send some people on a voyage. They're going to trek across the mountain and eventually reach the western Greek coast, of which they'll start to go ahead and annex into their civilization. They'll go up the coast of Albania and then finish off up here in Montenegro. But then what we have happening is a small military incursion into the pink team, reaching all the way over here to the river entrance. They didn't take much land, but that is their goal. They expanded their coast, and the red team is looking to make a comeback and become a strong civilization once again. But the blue team isn't just going to sit by and let that happen. They're going to draw a card. Oh, they're going to split. I was really hoping that wouldn't happen, but the blue team is going to be splitting up. And this new nation will be the brown team, and they will take over this southern bit of the blue team, going all the way up and getting the key city of Izmir. And since they took the major city away from Turkey, it will now become their capital city, and the breakaway was successful. Up to the pink team, they're going to do a large expand. Now I'm trying to think of an actual story for these guys because they've been going crazy. They have just been expanding like it's been nothing. And I think that these guys are simply just expansionists. Or maybe they're nomadic. They like to move around a lot, but so far their civilization encompasses a very large area. But the pink team is now probably the largest nation on this map, but not a very strong nation. I want to bring attention to that. They were just, a breakaway of the blue team, and they don't have much population up here. Speaking of the blue team, we get them in a random card, and we're going to do a large expand. And what the blue team is going to be doing is that they're going to be conquering their former selves. They're going to be invading the breakaway of the cyan team. Now it has been some time since these guys broke away, but the blue team's army will march right in and take over the entirety of the Cyan team. They'll take Istanbul with ease, and they will continue their march east, now going along the northern Turkish coast. Almost said Turkish coast. I don't know what that means. And the blue team is trying to make itself a redemption. So Istanbul will become a major city of the blue team. And for our next random nation, we're going to be getting the brown team. We're drawing a card for them, and they're going to get a medium expand. And unfortunately for the orange team here, the brown team is going to be targeting them as their troops move down into the Rhodesian country and take the entire island away. But the brown team's expansion doesn't stop there. We're going to take these islands over here. And honestly, I think if we want to push them inwards a little bit, going towards central Turkey, maybe also kind of following the green team down into here a little bit. Next up, we get the yellow team, and they're going to get a medium expand. So I'm kind of liking the theme with the yellow team kind of wanting these islands. So what we're going to do is that we're going to have them be the first nation to set foot in Crete, and we're also going to move them down this Greek coast over here and wrap them around the south, doing something like that. So yeah, these guys, they're big island people. They like to go on islands and go places. Maybe they'll be the first to colonize outside of the Greek/Turkish area. All right, we just got a large expand for the green team, and honestly, this could be terrifying. First of all, we're going to have them go down into northern Cyprus like that, but we're also going to have them start to fill in this map a little bit. They're going to follow the border of the brown team. Now, I might accidentally erase some pixels, but that's okay. Early civilizations, they didn't really have borders, but also because I accidentally colored the wrong pixels in. That happens a lot in this game. Just something we're going to have to deal with. But when the green team's expansion is done, they're going to be looking something like this. Very large. They're also going to be getting a new major city all the way over here. It's going to be Mersin. And now our top powers in civilization are likely something like this. The red team probably is number 1. Blue team probably number 2. Yellow team maybe number 3. And then it's pretty close between either the brown or the green teams. But honestly, I think the brown team would have slightly more population, so they would take the number 4 spot in power rankings. Once again, pink team, I don't really think that they would be too strong. This is like a bunch of flat land, and in my head at least, it doesn't appear to be too populated. Now, once again, this game doesn't have any rules. There's no tutorial. There's no like definitive way to win this game. Literally all it is coloring on a map, which is my entire career. So once again, if you guys do enjoy this game, make sure to show some support. Let me know in the comments. Leaving a like on this video is also super essential. Let's try to get it to 2,000 likes. I think the last video got 2,500 likes, which is insane. So let's try to get somewhere near that. Let's try to get the 2K likes. For our next nation, we get the blue team. We're gonna draw a card, and we're gonna get medium expand. So the blue team here is going on a little bit of a conquest. Their forces will begin to push into the pink team, retaking land that they had previously lost to them. They're going to follow the eastern bank of this river, going around and moving their troops up until eventually they are going to have enough. And now the blue team is kind of resembling Turkey. That was not intentional, but it's happening anyway. But also, most notably, the pink team loses its capital city as it becomes a major city of the blue team, meaning these guys need a new capital, in which they're going to be putting all the way up here in Bulgaria in the city of Varna. Also, this pink team doesn't have a name, I just realized. And I actually fully believe that this area in Bulgaria is called Burgas, like burgers. You want some burgers? Let's go cook some burgers on the grill. Sorry, Bulgaria, I didn't mean to be offensive like that. That's okay though. Bulgaria is now officially being represented. So we have 2 Greek nations, we have a bunch of Turkish nations, and then we have a Bulgarian nation. Anyway, we now get the red country. We're going to draw a card, and they're going to split up again. And unfortunately for them, this split will happen in their recently colonized land as the purple team officially breaks away from the Macedonians. They don't cut them off from the western coast, but they do still take all of Albania, which is the name that we are going to be giving this new civilization. And their capital city will be right here in the city of Vlore, or Vlor. I don't know. I don't know what the 2 dots on the E mean, to be honest. The only languages that I really know anything about are English and Spanish, and not or. But now we come over here to the green team. We're going to select them, and they're going to get another large expand. These guys are rapidly becoming a very large civilization. So we're going to give them all of Cyprus. We're going to continue to wrap them all the way down the Middle Eastern coast, but also we're going to start pushing them inland in Turkey. And yeah, these guys might be the real deal soon enough. The only thing that concerns me about the strength of the green team is the fact that they're so far away from, like, you know, the birthplace of civilization, and therefore their population numbers are probably pretty small. Now in the comments, I want you guys to tell me, what is your favorite nation that you've seen in this video so far? And there still could be more. I think for me personally, I like the red team because my favorite color is red, and it was the first civilization. There's a little bit of a parallel theme happening here with another series that I have going where I'm quite fond of a red team. They're not the main character though, don't get them mixed up if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to go check out What If Civilization Started Over. It's a like 70+ episode series that I have, but it's pretty easy to catch on to. So if you like this kind of stuff, You'll like that series, so check it out if you haven't already. But now we're going to be selecting the yellow team, and they are going to origin diverted, select nation. What does that even mean? Oh, it means that they've rejected the red team and they have created their own origin. Okay, I see. So this map is the origin map. There's also the faith map, which there isn't much faith. It's all just one religion, which is Redianity. There's also the fort map, but we don't have any forts as of right now. But the origin mode basically just tells you where every single country came from. So as of now, every single nation came from the red team, but the yellow team has just rejected that. And they are now saying that they have their own origin. So they have their own unique culture, identity, ethnicity, whatever you want to call it. But now we're going to select the Albanian nation, and they're going to be founding a religion. Now I think the correct name for this will once again be purpleism, just a new form of it. And now if we go to the faith map, we can see that the Albanians have indeed created the first non-red religion. So now we have purpleism and we have Redianity. As long as the purple team exists, purpleism won't go away, but you never know, especially with the Macedonians here. And speaking of them, we're going to select them and we're going to enter into the Age of Conflict, and they're going to be getting a small expand. So they go to war with the yellow team, a former rival of the red team, and they're going to be taking back a lot of the land they lost to them, and they will also be expanding inland following this river, and the Macedonians now look something like this. But now we come over here to the blue team, and they're going to get a large expand. This could get a little bit bloody. Now we're in the Age of Conflict, which means that we should probably make these countries fight each other, but I'm not really one to follow the rules. That's like the one rule in the game, I guess. Like, it's like recommendations. You don't necessarily have to fight other countries. You don't have to do what the game is telling you. But what these different ages do, like we're in the Age of Conflict, is that they basically just change what you get when you draw a card. They change the probabilities of you drawing a different card. At least this is what I think. This is what I've experienced so far. So in the Age of Division, we had a lot of countries split up. Now in the Age of Conflict, we're probably going to be getting a lot of large expands and medium expands. But that's just a theory. So the blue team is going to move along this northern coast. They are not going to be going to war with anybody just yet, but we will be thickening their coastal claims. And the blue team now looks something like this. So what I've noticed is that the countries in Anatolia have had a very easy time expanding without like any foreign interference. Whereas the countries in Greece obviously have been a little bit more isolated. They don't have as much room to work with, and also the terrain over here isn't too favorable for some of these nations, like the red team, who are flatlanders. Actually, I think all these nations are flatlanders. Yeah, they all are. That's actually really interesting. So this is not a good place for civilization to start, apparently, unless you're the pink team. Speaking of which, they're going to get a small expand. Now, they won't be making the mistake of going to war with any of their southern neighbors, because that would be suicide. Instead, they're going to continue to fill in this area between this river and the southern river. And population-wise, not too sure how they're looking, but there's a chance that they could become pretty strong pretty soon. We now get the brown team. We're going to draw a card for them, and they're going to get a medium expand. Now this is interesting, because where exactly will the brown team expand with all of these pixels? Into the blue team, of course. So the brown team starts an invasion of the blue team, catching the blue country completely by surprise. They'll push up until eventually the blue team will be forced to give up the land that they have lost. And now the brown team is looking something like this, very large. And they also might be like competing with the blue team now. Now, of course, the blue team, they have the most major cities at this point, so they're probably the most populated and maybe the strongest. But you never know, you know, the brown team also has 2 major cities and the red team has 2 major cities. So the brown team at this point probably should be maybe stronger than the green team. I'm not too sure. I'll leave that up to you guys. But for our final turn, we will once again get the red team, and they're going to be getting a medium expand. Now, instead of invading into the yellow team or the purple team or the pink team, we're actually just going to be filling in some of this land. I know that's kind of anticlimactic, but at the end of the day, the red team looks something like this. And that is actually going to do it for today's video. So I hope you guys really did enjoy this Doodle Empires video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Once again, all of that support is greatly appreciated, as we're trying to get to 200,000 subscribers by August 1st. If we do, I'll be posting a special video that is a vlog. If you haven't already, make sure to join the new Discord server, link to it in the description below. Make sure to check out my streaming channel, AdizzPro. There's a link to it in the description as well. I do a bunch of streams over there sometimes. Usually they're gaming videos that is not mapping related. So if you're interested in content beyond mapping, make sure to go check out that channel. Also, check out channel memberships. That'll give you early access to every single one of my videos, as well as access to the members only Discord server. And there's a bunch of other stuff you guys can do, but I'm not going to list everything like I kind of just did. Anyway, once again, thank you all so much for watching this Doodle Empires, and I will hopefully see you all in the next episode. And of course, thank you to all our super fans. This includes Serminator, IC Static FN, CTG on YT, Ixco, Euroball, Augusto, A Norwegian, RS, Gail Martinez, America and Canada and UK, Zaylance, the leader of the AZO, Freezioi, Laser Taze, Pablo Sigma Cat, Death Strider X, Hammer Toad 45, and of course, DW Cool Dude. Once again, thank you guys.